Hello, guys. My name is Diamonique Valentine. I just first want to say thank you to the creators of this event for allowing me to share my story, my trials, and my victory in fighting breast cancer. I want to share love to the millions of current patients and survivors all over the world. I'm sending you love and prayers, and we're all here with you. All right. All right, so I'll start with my story. I am a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 27. At the time of my diagnosis, I was an entrepreneur. I was newly married. I was not doing any type of breast exams, nor did I have any knowledge of breast cancer or aware that it could happen to me. Ironically, July 2019, I went to go get a breast exam done and everything came out perfect. They said everything looks good. And that next month, August 2019, a lump appeared. Once I found the lump, I called my primary doctor to make an appointment. At the time, it took a month to be seen. And once I got to the appointment, she viewed the lump and she said, you know, you're 27. I doubt that this is breast cancer. It might be a cyst, just like you think it is, because that's what I thought it was. And she said, I still want to have you get it checked out. And I'm so glad she said that, because I know I hear many stories of women who are just sent home and they say, well, keep an eye on it. But my doctor did schedule me to give me a referral to get a mammogram and an ultrasound. So I left the appointment. I went out to the car to call and make the appointment. And I found out that I had a block on my insurance from missed payments. If you guys know insurance, if you miss anywhere from 30 days to 90 days with paying your insurance, no matter how long you've been paying it for, you will get dropped or get blocked. And I was blocked from being able to get the services I need for testing. So I'm 27 years old. I'm not really thinking that this is cancer at all. So I'm calling around places, I'm asking people, but at the same time, I'm 27 years old and this is not like my top priority in life, honestly. And for anybody watching this, please, you know, if you hear a friend that has a lump or something is abnormal, please encourage them to be diligent with getting things checked out. Thank God I found a program through a friend that did free testing for people with no insurance or, you know, a situation like me, canceled insurance. And I wasn't able to get in until October, the end of October. So I ultimately went 3 months with a lump in my breast without being able to know if it was cancerous or not. When I got there, they said, yeah, this looks really suspicious. We're going to do a biopsy as well. They performed a biopsy, and a few days later, I got the call that it was cancer. It changed my life. 27-year-old, not thinking that this would possibly happen to somebody healthy like me, no family history, you know. I found out that it was triple negative breast cancer, which is an aggressive form of breast cancer that generally happens to younger women, African-American women, Hispanic women, and women with the BRCA1 gene. I had no family history, and I also tested negative for the genetics of breast cancer. In this waiting period, I could imagine that stage 1 breast cancer that I probably had when I first found the lump to that stage 3 breast cancer when I eventually got it checked out made all of the difference in my diagnosis and my treatment. So I just pray that that changes somewhere along the way and that we spread the word about more programs that's available all through different states, because there is different programs that will help I just wasn't aware of those programs. So yeah, let's talk more. All right, so treatment that I had was 16 rounds of chemotherapy, a double mastectomy with a delayed reconstruction. Now let's talk about treatment during COVID-19. So I started my treatment right before the pandemic happened. And halfway during treatment is when the pandemic happened. And I went from having my husband, my mom and dad in chemo with me to having to be there by myself, alone, afraid, at a time like that where feel like you need people that you love to support you and be there for you. Things started to take place virtual for me. I had to plan for my reconstruction virtually as well due to COVID-19. A lot of appointments and things like that had to be handled through video. And then one of the most traumatizing things was surgery alone, and not just going through surgery alone, but just the ups and downs of when surgery would happen. And also, would I be able to get the surgery I wanted? I had triple negative breast cancer in my right breast. So there was a mandate on the state of New Jersey that they weren't doing elective surgeries. And since I only had breast cancer on one side, my double mastectomy was considered elective for me. So just the anxiety around trying to figure out when that mandate would end. Also, when I would actually have my surgery, because it was pushed back as well due to COVID. And then just being in the hospital while it was on lockdown and being there with limited staff, being at the hospital alone. It was a very, very unfamiliar and scary time for me, as I can imagine for any other patient who went through this. It was another level of anxiety. It was another level of fight through these times. And I finished chemo in April 2020, and I had my double mastectomy in May 2020. And then I went back for my reconstructive surgery in September 2020. And now we're still here now in September 2021, where the world is still the things are still very limited. So I've been in my survivorship for a little bit over a year in remission. And what our survivorship programs looks like at my hospital is blood work every 3 months. Also general monitoring from my surgeon and my oncology team for a reoccurrence. And it's, a transition being on the other side. And still having to, go to these appointments alone as well. But I am grateful that I was still able to get treatment throughout this season of life. And I'm sending love to all the other warriors who are fighting during this era. So thank you guys so much. I'm doing well. I am whole, healthy, and happy, and I pray the same for you all. Thank you again for allowing me to share my journey, and I hope that it was valuable to you guys. All right.